Welcome back to Designsmith. Today I'm going to be continuing my dream concert poster series, and we are going to be creating a poster for Nirvana. Before we get started, please subscribe to support the channel. Alright, so this right here is my favorite part of the design process. Just staring at this blank artboard and trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. And I have a general idea. What we're going to be putting together today is actually fairly simple, but I just want to show you how to use several techniques in Illustrator and then finish everything up in Photoshop. So the first thing I'm going to do is just lay down some text here, and we will make this nice and large. And I actually have the Nirvana font on here, so I'm going to use that. And in my opinion, the best time to have seen Nirvana would have been during the Nevermind era, so I'm going to do something that's based on that design. So we'll just move this up here. I'm going to move this over here so I can just kind of grab and copy some text if I need to, because I'm going to be creating outlines here. So let's create outlines, and I'm going to set this exactly where I want it to be. We'll probably do 1 inch down, and then we'll go something like that where it spans 16 inches across. And before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and make this not 100% black, and we'll just bring this up to about 10%, because I'm sure that eventually, once we get over into Photoshop, I'm going to want to apply some effects, and we want to make sure those effects are visible. If our colors are 100% black, we won't see them. Okay, so let's add in a couple of opening acts, and we will do like maybe Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and Stone Temple Pilots. Could you imagine seeing this lineup during this time? That would have been amazing. All right, so let's select this and let's just kind of clean up the spacing in between here. And I think what I'll do is add the word width up here at the top, and let's do something like maybe 100 points right there. I'm going to copy this over here to this side and then create outlines with this. And we can center this up on the artboard. And then I think that I'll kind of bring this down to 14 inches for the width. We definitely want to make sure that our headliner is nice and large. And let's put in some little separator bars right here. And I'll make that 1/4 of an inch tall. And then we'll move the same thing down here. And now we can put some venue information at the bottom. This would have been Nashville in the 90s. So let's say 328 Performance Hall. And rather than retype, I'm going to go over here and click on this all caps here. We'll just kind of bring that up just a little bit. 328 Performance Hall, Nashville, Tennessee. And I'll just make up a date. October 2nd, 1991. Because why not? Now that I'm looking at this, let's make this a lot smaller. And we'll put that on 2 lines right there. And we'll put like a little bullet in between here. And we'll something very 90s, like tickets available at Tower Records. And we'll jump down here and say, and other record stores. Okay, so we have all of our text exactly as we want it to be. So let's create outlines there. And we had 1 inch margins at the top. So let's do the same thing at the bottom by just moving this up right here. And now we can select each one of these 5 sections. So the header, that line, this middle section, this line, and this text. And let's go over here to Align and go to Align to Selection and click on Vertical Distribute Space. And that's going to make sure that all of these elements are spaced out evenly. Okay, so before we move all of this into Photoshop, one of the things that I want to do is apply a little text effect right here with these opening acts. Normally I would apply this to the headliner, but this effect works better when you have multiple lines of text. So let's select this and go up to Effect, Wave, and 50% looks good, so we'll just leave it at that. Hit OK. And this next part is optional, but I like to do it just to make sure that everything is nice and consistent. Let's go up to Object, Expand Appearance. All right, so now we're going to select everything, and let's make sure that we all have everything in the same color. I'm going to raise that up to 10%. And now we'll just hit Copy, and we'll paste this right here as a smart object and hit OK. So now what I'm wanting to do is I want to make it look like this text is underwater inside of a pool. So this right here is one of my favorite free photo websites. So let's just type in pool water, and we want to match the colors as much as we possibly can. So I want to get something that's nice and light and kind of has like a bit of a turquoise feel. And this right here is perfect. It's just a straight shot looking down at the pool water. So let's hit download, and now we'll open this up in Photoshop and just drag this up on top of our poster. And I'm going to center this right here, and now we'll rotate this, and I'm going to scale this up. So now it covers the entire thing. And now let's move our text layer up on top of the pool water. So as you can see, it's not very easy to read. So let's just make another copy of that by hitting Command or Control J on our keyboard. And now we can lower the opacity to about 75%. And now let's apply a soft Gaussian blur to both of these layers. Something like 3 pixels will be just fine. And let's do the second one. So now it looks like the text is at the bottom of the pool with that surface reflection laying on top of it. And you can just kind of play around with things like opacity if you want to show a little bit less of the text, a little bit more of the text. And you can even double click on the bottom layer to bring up the underlying layer blending. So just hold down Option or Alt on your keyboard and just move this over until you start to see some of those areas of the water shining through a little bit better. So maybe like around 125, and just hit OK. And this is before and this is after. When you look at it as a whole, it's still kind of difficult to read, so I'm just going to undo that last step. And remember, this is something that you would see like hanging up on a wall, so it would be a lot easier to read once you got a lot closer to it. But it's just really cool to see these visual nods to the Nirvana Nevermind cover, and also really cool to see those little text reflections that you can do just simply by changing blending modes. So here is the poster as a whole. I think it looks really cool. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope I taught you something in Illustrator or Photoshop. If you wouldn't mind, please consider subscribing to support the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.